Welcome to Porto, welcome to Hotel Bernardin, and welcome to the International Conference Global Philanthropists Partners for a Knowledge-Based Response to Climate Change. My name is Miroslav Polzer and I'm chairing this welcome session. My institutional background is threefold. I am head of Austrian Science and Research Liaison Office Ljubljana, which is working on behalf of Austrian Federal Ministry of Science and Research in the field of promotion of international cooperation. Austrian Science and Research Liaison Office Ljubljana is a part of Center for Social Innovation in Vienna. Therefore, I am employee of the Center for Social Innovation Vienna. And my third institutional affiliation is the fact that I am Secretary General of International Association for the Advancement of Innovative Approaches to Global Challenges, IAAI, a recently established not-for-profit association under Austrian law, which is supposed to be instrumental in implementation of some of the initiatives that we will have on the agenda the next days. As a brief introduction to the conference, I would like to say a few words about the rationale of today's conference. Climate change is a global challenge with unprecedented dimensions and enormous potential to threaten the well-being of people all over the world. When addressing this climate change challenge, we need to have a systematic approach. And a systematic approach inevitably leads us to the conclusion that a global challenge like climate change can be addressed effectively only with substantially improved global coordination among relevant stakeholders. For global challenges to be met appropriately, we need strong ties among people on a global level. We need a strong United Nations system. This global community, this United Nations system needs, in order to be strong and successful, two things. First, it needs a strong knowledge base. This means it needs new approaches to global knowledge management and new ways of international scientific cooperation. And second, it needs a sound financial basis. And this means it needs the mobilization of additional financial resources. It needs the help of global philanthropists. We have gathered here in Porto to identify the key challenges that lay before us, that lay before mankind. We have gathered to explore new ways of cooperation to respond to these global challenges in innovative and effective ways. Having in mind the many innovative dimensions of the conference, I am convinced that the range of speakers that have accepted the invitation for active participation in the conference is a great success, although I have to admit that I have expected a higher number of general audience, but we are very happy that you are here. And it is our hope that we will trigger with this conference some concrete follow-up activities, like for instance developing a concept and roadmap for establishing a global forum on philanthropy and research and education funding with a special focus on climate change, or discussing how the Global Challenges World Cup, Climate Protection World Cup concept could be implemented. That will be presented tomorrow. And in addition to these results in terms of follow-ups, we are planning to have a strong awareness-raising effect. We will disseminate the conference documentation, the videotapes of all presentations via DVDs and via a video-on-demand site to a wide global audience, thus leading to a strong awareness-raising effect among philanthropic organizations, scientists and science policy makers, climate change experts, international relations experts, and other relevant stakeholders. Please allow me to express at this point our gratitude to our co-organizers. First, I would like to express our gratitude to European Foundation Center, which is today represented by President Emilio Rui Villar and former President Mr. Wilhelm Kroll, and Chief Executive Mr. Gary Salole, and environmental grant-making expert Seudalina Rokanova. And an important pillar of the conference is Slovenian Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology, And here, especially Mr. Peter Volasco, Head of Service for International and EU Affairs, has been really a great help in organizing this event. Very important partners have been for us also the Millennium Project of World Federation of UN Associations, led by Director Mr. Jerome Glenn, who will address you later in the introductory session, and the Slovenian National Commission for UNESCO, headed by Ms. Majutka Hafner and Mr. Gaspar Rastel, thank you, who disseminated the information about this conference to all UNESCO commissions worldwide. Special thanks go also to Robert Bosch Stiftung, represented today by Mr. Rainer Höll, that financially supported the conference, and special thanks go also to Slovenian company Studio Moderna, represented today by Director Mr. Sandy Češko and Ms. Karin Matko, which sponsored today's reception and some other material costs of the conference. You can see in the registration area also the foldable bicycle Big Fish, which is a knowledge-based Slovenian contribution to CO2 emission reduction, and it's a product of Studio Moderna. Studio Moderna can certainly serve as a role model to other companies in Slovenia and worldwide in terms of corporate social responsibility with international outreach. And we are grateful also to Professor Vlado Dimovski, who is very knowledgeable and active in Slovenia and in the Western Balkan countries with regard to philanthropy, and who has established the link between us and Studio Moderna. Let me acknowledge also with gratitude the very valuable intellectual input and support provided to us by our partners of the event, which are British Embassy in Ljubljana, Slovenian Research Agency, Slovenian Science Foundation, Slovenian Business and Research Association, Bled Forum on Europe, which is the Slovenian node of Vefuna Millennium Project, Humanotera, the Slovenian Foundation for Sustainable Development, Balkan Children and Youth Foundation, and International Center for Promotion of Enterprises. And many thanks go also to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, to the Secretariat in Geneva, but also to Professor Lučka Kajfež-Bogataj, who is today with us, for the important intellectual support and input to the conference. Finally, I would like to thank also my colleague Gorazd Weiss for his tireless efforts and work related to logistics of the conference. And with these words of thanks, let us come back to the agenda. And our first welcome address is a video message of Mr. Danilo Türk, President of the Republic of Slovenia.